Okay, the chatbot's a pretty common assignment in computer science. I did this one in grad school. So on this one, I'm going to go ahead and learn about your dog. And if you don't have a dog, pretend like you have a dog. And at one point in this assignment, I want to have a random response for at least one of my questions. So I'm going to start out with import random. All right. I'm going to go ahead and print you don't have a dog, pretend that you do. And then I wanted to space down a line. So I had the backslash in. All right, now there's a couple ways we can do the input. I want my input to be on a separate line than my question. So I'm just going to go ahead and say print. What is the name of your dog? Say dog equals input. Now I've already asked a question, so I don't really need to put anything there as a prompt. But I do need to let the computer know that we are inputting a string right here. So we put the quotation marks in just so it has the space there. Okay, so if I run that, if you don't have a dog, pretend that you do. What is the name of your dog? And I'll say Spot. Okay, so it's working so far. Again, I like to check my program as I'm going along so I don't have to go back and look for multiple mistakes along the way if I wait until the end and if I made a mistake. All right, so we're going to kind of personalize this a little bit. I'm going to say print. And I'll say dog plus. Now, when I put my quotation marks in there, I want to put a space, so there's a space between the dog's name, the variable dog that we put in, and the rest of the sentence. So we'll let them know that their dog's name is a great name. Even if we don't like it, we're going to pretend like we do because we're nice people. And then again, I want to skip down a line. All right, now let's keep capitalizing the beginning of the sentence. Sorry, all right, now we're going to ask a question. So, how old is your dog? And actually, to simplify this, we'll say in years. I don't want to have to deal with months. In there, so, okay, how old is your dog in years? All right, so I want an input. So I need a variable, so I'm just going to say age equals, now this time I want it to be an integer. Input quotation marks. All right, now we want to print something different depending on what age they put in. So I'm going to say if age I'm going to go ahead and just say less than or equal to 1 because they may put in 0. You know, maybe it's 3 or 4 months old, so they just round it down to 0. So if their age is less than or equal to 1, now remember with these if statements, I'm going to put the colon there so that it indents for me, and everything that's indented is in response to that if statement. I'm going to print. Okay, so I want it to print out the dog's name. Again, we want to kind of make this individualized. So let's say the dog. I want to put a space in there. Still a all right, now I'm going to backspace. Now here I'm going to use the else if, the elif, E-L-I-F, to save a little bit of typing time. So here I'm going to say elif, and actually I'm just going to go ahead and copy this. I just need to make a few changes here. So we'll say that your dog's age is less than 6. So now we're looking at the ages between 2 and 6. Because the first one's checking to see if it's 1 or lower. If it's not, then it's going down to the next one. Okay, so we'll say not a puppy anymore. But their dog is still young. Now I'm going to go back, copy this. All right, now the dog's getting a little bit older, so we'll say, let's say. So now we're looking at the dog ages from 7 to 12. All right, the dog's not still young. The dog is starting to mature. And then I'm going to say if the dog is older than 12, it's getting old. All right, so I want to put and I don't need to put inequality in there because it's checking. Checks if it's less than 1, less than 6, less than or equal to 12. If it's none of those, it's going to print. Okay, so their dog is old for a dog. All right, let's run that. What's your dog's name? I'll say Gear. Gear is a great name. It's really not, but we're being polite. How old is your dog in years? Let's say our dog is 8. Okay, Gear is starting to mature. So our code works up to this point. All right, now we want to ask another question. And this time, let's come up with a random answer. Well, no, let's give them choices of answers on this one. All right. Print, quotation mark. Yeah. Then I'm going to put a space in there because I'm going to put the dog's name. All right. Now I want to put another space there at the beginning, so there's a space after the dog's name. See, does your dog prefer to eat? Sleep or play? Okay, now this was just a print statement. It wasn't an input statement. So now I'm going to do the input again. I need a variable, so I'm just going to use ACT for activity equals input. All right, so they're going to input some answer there. So let's say fact. All right. Now when we're comparing, we need two equal signs. We don't just put one equal sign in there, you'll get a syntax error. Okay, so we put our two equal signs in there. So if it equals eat, we put our colon, so it'll indent for us. Print. Let's see. Make sure you give. Then I'm going to put a space there. And again, we're going to personalize this, so I'm going to put the dog's name in there. Then I want to put a space inside the parentheses after dog. So again, there's a space after the name. So make sure you give your dog healthy food. All right. I'm going to copy this because I'm going to be using basically the same format on this one. I'm going to change this second statement to elif. So if they enter sleep, and then I'm going to change the statement. Okay, so if they enter sleep, I'm going to say I hope. Now I'm going to put a space in there. Whoops, there's already a space there. The dog has a comfy bed. Whoops. Backspace. I'm going to hit Control V again. But I'm just going to change this to an else because we just have three choices. So the last one is else. And I just do the copy and pasting just so I don't have to type the print and the plus and the dog and the plus and the quotation marks. So I can just change what's inside there. Let's see. Let's see, you should buy dog. What should we buy our dog? We'll say a frisbee. And I want to skip down a space. All right, so let's run this, see what we've got. What's the name of your dog? Spot. How old is Spot in years? We'll say he's 1. Oh, Spot's still a puppy. Does Spot prefer to eat, sleep, or play? Let's say he likes to sleep. I hope Spot has a comfy bed. All right. Whoops. So we'll go with one more question, and on this one, I don't care what they type in, I'm going to give some random answer. All right, so let's print. What is unique about? Put a space there. Again, we want to kind of personalize this, so I'll put the dog's name in. Then I want to put a period at the end, and I want to skip down a line. So I'm going to use my quotation marks, period, backslash, n. Right now I want an input, so I need the variable. I just use uni, short for unique. Not very original, but it works. All right, this is where we're going to use the random number. So I want to use the random function. And I want to find a random integer. Oops, that should be rand int. And I don't want too many, so I'll just go from 1 to 3. All right. So we'll say let's see if uni, and remember we need to use the double equal signs here. So we'll say if uni equals 1, put my colon there. And we'll say that is interesting. And we'll use an exclamation point just to make it look like we really care. Okay, and I'm going to do backslash n for space. And I'm just going to copy that. Backspace, hit Control V. Now here I want to make this second one an elif. I'm going to change my number to 2. And let's say that is pretty unusual. I'm going to paste that again, but I'm just going to get rid of this top part right here. Now I left my colon there, so if you delete that section. Make sure you don't delete the colon, or just type the colon in after else. And let's see, we'll just say same with my dog. Enter. I'm going to backspace. And I think that's enough to kind of fulfill the requirements of an assignment like this. So that will say print. Let's say it was nice learning about. And we'll put a space there. Again, we want to personalize it. So put the dog's name in there, plus, and we'll do the colons, do the space, so it has a space after the dog's name. Actually, we don't need a space there because I'm going to put a comma, then a space. Have a nice day. All right, so let's see how it goes. What is the name of your dog? My dog's name is Sal. Ah, Sal's a great name. How old is your dog in years? I'm going to say my dog's 27 years old. Ah, Sal's old for a dog. Yeah, very old. All right, let's say that our dog likes to eat. Okay, so here we got so let's see. Oh, I typed in unit. It finished the sentence for me. Okay, so I needed to get my variable correct over here, and it auto-typed the T on the end, or maybe I did, I don't know. So, all right, so let's try running again. What's your dog's name? I'll say Joe. Joe's a great name. How old is your dog in years? I'll say 14. Joe is old for a dog. Does your dog prefer to eat, sleep, or play? We'll say eat. Make sure you give Joe healthy food. What is unique about Joe? Let's see. I'm going to come over here and look at my code. Because we ask what's unique about Joe. Aha. I forgot to put my input in there. So well, I'm not going to use unit. We could use uni because then it's going to get overwritten by the random number, but just to save on confusion, I use the last part of unique. So let's say Q equals input. All right. So now let's run. What's your dog's name? Say Harry. Harry's a great name. How old is your dog in years? He's 5 years old. He's still young. How does Harry prefer to eat, sleep, or play? He prefers to sleep. Hope Harry has a comfy bed. What is unique about Harry? Say he is green. That is interesting. It was nice learning about Harry. Have a nice day. And that's my chatbot.